So the clean ask is the making transparent of what is really going on in the words that we say, in the things that we offer, in the actions that we take, what is really going on with them, and what is the real request underneath. Because often what we find is that the words and the behavior on the surface actually are the vehicle, Trojan horse, sometimes I call it, the Trojan horse for a far greater, more meaningful, more personal, more weighty purpose that is hidden in the words. So if I give you an example, I might say to a friend, I could help you out with lifts to school if you like. And she says, no, thanks, don't, I'm fine, I've got it sorted. If that's all there is in that interaction, it's clean, it's fine. There's no residue with it. There's no nothing remaining. It's complete in itself. I've offered a lift to school. She says no, she doesn't need it. Clean. But if my offer, can I help you out with lifts to school, is actually contains within it something like I'm feeling not acknowledged by you. I want you to acknowledge me, or I'm feeling lonely and I want some companionship, some attention, or I'm feeling that I haven't been doing enough recently for people, and I feel people don't like me, and so I'm trying to get myself back in with people. You know, all of these things and infinite others could be going on within that request. And what happens is that the response isn't, when that's going on, when there's all that underneath, the response isn't judged by the surface. Can I give you some lifts to school? No thanks, clean. It's not judged by that. It's judged by what's going on underneath. And so if it's a Trojan horse, if it's a vehicle really for notice me, appreciate me, show that I matter, show that I'm loved, show that you care about me, show that I'm included, show that I'm part of your life. If all of that's really what's going on in that question, then the response, you know, a no thank you, it can be seen as so offhand. Like, even that can even be seen as rejection. Do you see what I mean with that? That it's not enough. The response isn't enough for what was really required from that question. And how can it be? Because the friend doesn't know what's going on with that question. She's replying to the surface reality of it, but instead our need is for whatever that question was really trying to convey. And so when I say clean questions, what we're really looking at is to see what is really going on in all our communication. And actually what we find is that this dynamic of question and response, and then our response to the response, is completely revelatory in terms of making transparent the real needs in that moment, the real lack, that, you know, the real request, what is really wanted. And when we start, instead of this sort of blind, mindless, asking the question with this whole subtle underneath subterranean meaning, and then getting offended, upset by the response, which is always a perfectly adequate response to what's on the surface, but deeply inadequate for what's really needed. Instead of allowing that to deepen the issue, provide more evidence to the story of me not being wanted, me being rejected, them not giving attention to me, instead of allowing that mindless ramping up of the identity, the stress of my response to her response is making the whole thing transparent and is saying, look what's really going on here. Look what is really being asked for. And then we have a choice, don't we? We can either see what is really needed, stop using these sort of pretend ways in, because all that does is just confuse everybody, doesn't get us what we need, doesn't allow the person to respond to the truth of that request. So what we can do is start seeing that, and then the choice is, do I actually voice what is really required? Because then we can actually say, what I really want is some companionship. I'm feeling left out, I'm feeling lonely, I'm feeling neglected. That then becomes really useful information to see, what do we then do about that? And now for the first time, really, there's transparency and honesty. And it's so massive, this. It's such a clearing up. It's like a spring clean of our way in the world. And it really allows for a level of accountability and transparency that we might never have had, really. So the question that came in about this is, hi Claire, can you say more about when there is a Trojan horse request, like I've just described, where the outside superficial ask, like, can I help with lifts to school, is hiding a deeper, or what most of us would call an unconscious ask? And she gives the example, for example, if I were to post repeatedly in a Facebook page, seemingly to be helpful, but really a deeper desire is to be seen or approved of. Yeah, that's a brilliant other example, yeah. Why would we listen to or ask for the unconscious ask when emotions and thoughts are so transitory? Why take that unconscious ask seriously? Aren't both coming from an insecure self? What a great question. Why, what benefit is it really? I think what we're asking. What benefit is it to have that unconscious ask made visible, to have it transparent, to acknowledge it and own it? Well, because until that happens, that is the entire navigation system of our being, of our movement in the world, of our relationships. And because it's being hidden and being put out in the world subconsciously or without acknowledgement, and it's being hidden by these superficial requests that then don't get the response that the underneath desire is really trying to get, we're in a continual pattern of seemingly putting ourselves out there, but being pushed back, being rejected over and over and over again. And it's why, like, this is when we think we're being really kind and helpful, and when we're really we're not thinking about ourselves, we're putting ourselves out, we're offering, we're going over and above what people would expect, and people aren't acknowledging it, people aren't recognizing what we do, it's because of that. It's because the surface offers are not really what's going on. They are simply a vehicle or a Trojan horse for really our innermost needs. You know, we're so vulnerable in these things. We're so vulnerable that these things can't be asked outright. That, you know, and yet they're there driving every interaction. Even, you know, like we say, even like our Facebook post, of course, when that's the case. Yeah. So say for example with the Facebook post, if I might post a you know, a picture of, I don't know, me going to a party. And if it's just simply to share me going to a party with my friends, it literally doesn't matter really what the response is, because if it was clean, the sharing of it alone is enough. But if the underneath desire is to have validation, is to have people telling me I'm beautiful, they like my outfit, you know, isn't it great that I'm going out? Well done, Claire. You know, if my underlying desire is that, then it's not enough just to post it. And it's not enough even for millions of people to validate me, because that validation can't be satisfied from anything in the external world. It's coming from a sense of incompleteness that is this self-identity that cannot be secured. So these clean asks, when they become cleaner, we start to see, I want validation, I want to be acknowledged, I want to be someone. But how can anyone give me that? They can't, can they? They can't possibly, because there might be a temporary relief. You know, I might have 100 people saying, oh, lovely, Claire, I like your outfit, but then what? Then what? So in answer to the question, why would we listen to or ask the unconscious when these emotions and thoughts are so transitory? They're not really transitory. When they're these deep-seated, learned ideas of what we are and of how we should be and of what we need to be complete, they govern every aspect of life. So they're transitory in the sense that when seen, when acknowledged, when owned, when healed, they've gone, sure. But as long as they're there under the surface, like a submarine moving everything around, they're showing up all the time. Yeah. So it's really where our reaction to their reaction is completely revelatory. There's so much rich information in that, and it shows that requests aren't clean, offers aren't clean, asks aren't clean. As long as there's that stressful reaction to their response, there's more to be seen, and in being present and still with it, so much is revealed. And when it's revealed, it can be acknowledged and it settles back in, and our way of being becomes whole. Everything, yeah, it becomes whole and authentic, straightforward. So, brilliant question.